Welcome back to the Crafty Carpenter, to all my do-it-yourselfers, where we talk about carpentry, the tools we use, and some tips and tricks along the way. Today we're going to talk about the drill. We're going to talk about all the parts of the drill and some different types of bits you can use in your drill and some safety tips. Once again, I want to give a little bit safety tips before demonstrating using the drill. It's a power tool. Drills are not that dangerous. They're pretty safe, but there is one thing that I want to point out that you should be aware of when using a drill, a screw gun, or a power type of drill. Sometimes when you're drilling and you're pushing down, your bit can get caught in the wood and your bit will stop, but your drill will keep going, which will cause your hand to snatch around. And that could cause a lot of stress on your wrist. So in order to prevent that, what you want to do is at all times, or whenever you can, hold your drill with two hands. And always start your drill slow and then once you got it on your point, you then can start picking up speed. And then when you're pressing down, don't try to force it. Let the drill do its work. Just give an even pressure while you're pressing down on your drill, and let the drill cut through the wood. And that's it for safety. So I'm gonna explain the main parts of your drill that you should get to know, because you're going to be working with them, so you want to be accustomed to them and know what they are and how to use them. So let's start with the chuck. This front piece is called your chuck. This part tightens down on your bits and opens up so that you can release your bits. It works with the forward and reverse buttons on the side. So it has a little arrow. I don't know if you could see it, but when you push that in, you're in reverse. And then on the other side, you just push it back and then you're in forward. So let's put a drill bit in. Some drill bits have flat parts. These drill bits are to fit in your chuck in that flat area. And let's see if we can get that in there. So you want to hold your drill bit, and then with your fingers, hold your chuck, have it in forward, and then start slowly tightening in your drill. If your drill lands on the edge, that's a bad fit. So let's loosen it up. We want our drill bit to land on those flat parts so that it can be flat. So we loosened it, we're gonna retighten it, hold it to try and keep it in that flat part, and then tighten it. And your drill bit should fit like that. Some drill bits are just round. They work the same way and your chuck will tighten down on them. So we're gonna put this one in. You loosen your chuck, put your drill bit in, hold your drill bit, hold your chuck, put it in forward, tighten it, and then hold it with your forehand to really tighten it. Smaller drill bits can have the tendency to get stuck on the side like that. And that is a really poor, actually it's a bad fit. And you don't ever want to use your drill bit like that, because it could snatch off to the side and it could break. And actually, if your drill bit breaks, it can fling off and hit somebody, if not you. So you want your drill bit always to be fitting correctly in your chuck. Oh, see, wait, that's a good fit. No, it's not. You can see how it's turning on an angle like that? Can you see that? That's a bad fit. So let's loosen it, back up, and get that straight in the center. like that. Now when it turns, it spins correctly instead of on that angle like that. The next two parts on the drill, I'm going to explain at the same time because they go hand in hand, and that is the clutch and your gears. Think of this as the old stick-shift car. Well, for those of you who were lucky enough to be around when stick-shift cars were still with a gear and a clutch. So when you were in first gear, that's to get you started. It gives the drill less torque. And then your gears are for your speed gauges. Your speed is how fast the drill is moving into your material, and the torque is the force of it. Another way you can gauge the speed on your drill is your trigger. Like I said, whenever you want to start drilling or you start drilling into your material, always start with your trigger finger slow, and you can hear the difference in the motor turning when you start and when you pick up speed. And the last part of the drill that I want to talk about is the battery. This is a cordless drill, so it's battery powered. So these batteries slide off, and this is an 18-volt battery, and they come in like a compact size, so whichever you prefer. On the 18-volt, you can see on the back of the drill, there's a little gauge there that lets you know how much battery life your battery holds. So you press the battery button, and as you can see, I still have 3 bars, so I'm good. There are several different attachments for your drill. There's attachments if you're working with concrete, there's attachments if you're working with metal, and there's of course your attachments when you're working with wood, which most us carpenters do. So I have a few different attachments here, just a few that I'm going to show you, just because there are just so many. And then I'm going to demonstrate a little bit about how to use each attachment. So these are called paddle bits. These are to make holes, and this one is a 3/4 inch paddle bit. And here's some paddle bits over here. You can get them up to 2 inches. So that means that you can make a 2-inch hole with these type of bits. And then we have these bits here, which are just normal, I use these for like to make a pilot hole before you put your screw in, stuff like that. These are called chamfer bits. They come in various sizes, and chamfer just means to bevel the edge. So with a router, which is something we'll get into another time, you can bevel off edges. But with a drill and your chamfer bits, you can drill your hole or chamfer it out for your screw head. These are also called chamfer bits. With these chamfer bits, you can drill your pilot hole with your drill bit, and it also will give an indent for the screw head. And they also come in various sizes. And then this is just a bunch of different little bits. Here you have your flathead bits and your Phillips bits and your hexagon bits. So there's just a whole bunch of different bits and things that work with your drill for your convenience. Oh, and this is called a hole saw. This is usually, well, I won't say usually. One of the uses for these, and that's not the right size, but is to make a hole in your door for your doorknob. So your hole saws come in various sizes. The smallest one I have here is a 1 inch, and this one looks like about 1.5 inches. But your hole saws, as far as I know, at least goes up to 6 inches. I don't know if they're making them bigger now, but that's a pretty big hole. So without further ado, let's do some demonstrations. For now, we're gonna put in a screw, and so just because it's one screw, I chose a long screw. And whenever you're using a longer screw, especially if it's in finished wood, you always wanna make a pilot hole first. So you wanna choose a drill bit that's a little bit smaller than the screw itself. You always want to see the threads of your screw on both sides of your drill, so you can see that the drill bit is a little bit smaller than the screw itself. So since this is a longer screw, I'm going to drill a pilot hole first with my drill bit. So put that in there. And we're just gonna, I'm doing this one to show you the torque. Let the drill do its work. Oh. We want this and this. Okay. Just start slow. And a lot of times it's best to hold your drill with two hands actually, because that'll help you stop it from spinning out of your hands or jerking on you while you're screwing. So let's go. Most of the times when you get to the end, you could just give it a couple of little turns, and then that way you can make sure it's sunken into your wood. Let's try it again with a different torque. I'm gonna take it out. So right now I have it on in second gear. I'm gonna put it in first gear and turn the torque down to, let's try 3. Maybe I should use a different hole. Yeah, I'm gonna drill a different, so I've already drilled my hole, and we're gonna put our screw in now. We've turned our speed and our torque down so that the screw won't drive so deep into the wood. So let's see what that sounds like. You can see how it's not gonna go down anymore. It's just gonna keep making that ratchet sound. But that's to be able to judge the force of your screw going in, because you don't want to have so much force that you drive your screw through the wood. So your torque and your gears are a good thing. This is a paddle bit. This is a 3/4 of an inch paddle bit, and you can use this to make 3/4 of an inch holes. I'll set that in there. Forward, lock it in. I'm gonna turn my torque back up. About there, back on 2. So to start your hole, you put your paddle bit on your line. Start slowly. Nice and clean. So let's see what the chamfer bit can do. And let's use a screw hole. You can also set the torque on this too, because you can actually make a hole so far into this, but a lot of times, let's say you don't want it to go in too deep, you can set your torque back down. And then that gives you a little bit more control as to how deep it's going and how far. So here I have another type of chamfer bit. This one will actually drill your pilot hole and make your little indent into the wood for your screw. So let's try that one. that looks like. These attachments here are called keyhole saws or a hole saw, but it's a saw that works with your drill. So I'm going to show you how to attach it and then we'll drill a hole. So it usually comes with these 3 attachments, which is the saw itself, a drill bit, and then a bolt. So you place your drill bit in the hole. It has a little flat part, so you just turn it until you find it. Hold that on and put your bolt on. Up. Get that nice and tight. Put it into your chuck. Tighten it up. Give it a little tight, and then give it a good tighten. And now you want to take the point of your drill bit and put it right there on your hole mark, and then you're ready to make your hole. Once again, we're going to start off slow and easy, and then we're going to just have a steady pressure. Sometimes with your keyhole saw, you're going to need to let it breathe. So the sawdust really doesn't have any place to go. So you want to go down. Sometimes you need to come up a little bit, let the sawdust release, go down, come up a little bit. And if you're having problems going through the wood, this is another trick. You can take it out, flip your wood over, and I always suggest clamps. And then you'll notice that your keyhole saw has made a little hole drill or a hole in your wood. You can put your drill bit in there. Make sure it's right in there. And then you can drill from the other side. Oh, I don't want to start on the wood. I want to have my drill bit raised up a little bit from the wood when I start drilling. Sometimes when you use your keyhole saw, sometimes this piece will come out, and then sometimes it'll get caught up in there. And if it does get caught in there, you can use a drill bit or a screwdriver and stick them in those little holes and pop it right out. And there's your hole. And FYI, if you have a lot of holes to cut, you're going to end up with all of these little circles. And if you have kids, this is a great toy. You can paint them up. I don't know if you remember a long time ago when we were kids and before electronics, we used to play with stuff like this. So now I just have one more bit I want to show you. And our final bit attachment we're going to talk about is called a mud mixer or a paint mixer. This comes in really handy if you are mixing drywall mud or a 5-gallon bucket of paint or cake. Just kidding. So let's go ahead and attach it and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm putting it on the floor because it's kind of heavy so that the floor can hold it for me, and then I'll put it on my drill, press forward, hold your chuck, and let's see if that attached correctly. Yes, it did. So, mixing paint or drywall mud, or like I said, if you have a big cake batter, this is the thing you want to use. So that's all I have for you today, my do-it-yourself family. Don't forget to stay safe, be creative, and have fun. Hit the like and subscribe button. That'll help me out, and it'll help you to keep learning more about carpentry. I'll see you on the next one. If you click in the description box below, you'll find a link to my school where you can get some free PDFs. And if you need to purchase any tools, you'll find a link below for that too.